Very, very happy and honored to meet all of you and to be here. And with Puja Gurudev's blessings and Puja Guruji's blessings and of course Swami Shantanandaji's guidance, we begin our first text, Tattva Bodha. So, Tattva Bodha. Before we even dive into the text, let's figure out why we have to even study such a text. Why do we even have to look at Vedanta or read Vedanta or study Vedanta? The goal of human life is to seek joy. All of us are just seeking joy in some way or the other. If I ask you today why you came, because you thought you might get some joy, something will make you feel a little bit more peaceful here. Why are you sitting where you're sitting? How come some of you are sitting in the back, some in the front? Also because joy. You feel more joy sitting where you're sitting. Why did you park your car where you parked it? Joy. You want to get the closest parking spot to the ashram, so you have to walk less, isn't it? So all the things we do are driven by this one thing called joy. Now, if we look at it, some people might say, well, I don't wake up early because of joy. I wake up early because I have to go to work. That's not joy. But then you're waking up early gives you some form of peace or not. Because you have to, if you wake up early, you get everything organized properly at home and then you leave for work and it gives you some kind of peace. So I'm not talking about the joy that's like ha ha hoo hoo, like you're so happy and you're jumping up and down kind of joy. I'm talking about that kind of peaceful joy. Some might say, I don't go to work for joy. I go to work because I have to. I have no choice. I have to make money. I have to make a living here. But even that is done for some kind of peace, isn't it? You yourself feel a little bit at ease because you can now pay your own bills. You can be a little bit more independent. So every single thing that you and I engage in is because of some kind of joy, because we feel we're going to get some joy out of it. So this is our whole entire biography. And as I mentioned to the people who are studying self-unfoldment, that's all we do from morning to evening. The choices we make are based on the sole factor that we're going to get more joy out of this than that. That's why we act the way we act. Now Puja Guruji, very beautifully, he walks us through the text and he says, look, if you and I are looking for joy, where are we looking for it? Are we looking for it where it is? So some of us seek joy in going to places, right? And we like to travel, we like to go on yatras, we like to go in ashrams, and some of us feel such a deep, wonderful peace when we visit the ashram of our choice. What happens when we get there? We feel so happy, but the minute they give us the key to our room, this is our room, can we change our room? The bed is not made well, there's something here, there's something, is there a fan, is there AC? Something or the other will start to disturb us. Because the joy that we're seeking is not there. Right? We feel like we can get it there, but the minute even we go to our most joyous vacation place, something or the other will disturb us. We feel that sometimes joy will come at the right time. So now joy is not there, but wait till the weekend. Most of us wait till the weekend. And Gurudev says something so beautifully. He says, in the weekend, you just get weekend. Because you exhaust all your energy, everything like that. And by the time Monday comes, you're a wreck. Isn't it? So we feel like, I cannot be happy now. But when Friday night or Saturday comes, then I can really be happy. So we feel like maybe we need to wait for the right time to be happy. Then some of us seek happiness in some kind of object or the other, right? If we get this nice kind of object, we will be very, very happy. So let's say now, next month, what's happening is Black Friday, isn't it? So Black Friday, what happens is everyone wants to go shopping and everyone wants to buy and all these things for, to get good deals. And so let's say someone is going to buy this big, huge screen TV, because everybody wants that in their home. You must have it. It's a must-have item. And you're waiting for Black Friday so that you can go and get that TV and you can put it in your house and you get the surround sound and you even have that lazy boy chair, and that is like heaven. I mean, there could be no greater heaven. The only thing missing is the food, the khana, right? And when that comes, forget about it. That's it. That's all you need in life. We feel like that, right? So we plan our day or so that, okay, I'll get this flat screen TV and we'll plan a party, because you want to show it off to your friends. I got this new TV and all of that. You want to have some kind of gathering. And you get that TV, you plan everything, you have the seats, you have the speakers, you even have the right food, and your friends come to visit. And they look at your TV and they tell you, hey, this was the TV that you were talking about? And you're like, yeah, this was the TV, look at it. They're like, why did you get that? You should have gotten the other one, it was cheaper, it's much bigger, it's better price, and it's much cheaper. You're crazy. And right there and then, how are you? You're completely crushed. Because you bought 50 inches for, let's say, $1,000. He's saying you could have bought 60 inches for like half the price. Why did you invest in that? And that happiness that you have in that object is gone in 1 second. So we feel like so many times we can be happy with some object or the other. But also that doesn't happen. Then we feel like maybe place, okay, I won't find happiness in any place, or something will make me sad there. Time, maybe not. Object, maybe not. Maybe some kind of thing that may happen in the future. Maybe some kind of situation. So what could happen in the future? Maybe when the children leave the house, I'll be happy. When the children go and they go into their lives and they start over, or when my child gets married, I will be happy. This is moha, big delusion. Nothing will happen like that. When your child leaves the house, you yourself miss your child so much. And when the child gets married, it is not happily ever after, it is more work ever after, because there's a lot of things to be done for that marriage. So, it's not that it will come when some favorable situation comes to your life. And it's not that it will come when certain people come into your life. Sometimes you feel certain people, if they come, they will make me so happy. Like your best friends or your good friends, or if your mom or your dad, everybody feels so happy when their parents come. But the minute the mothers and fathers come to your house, the first day you're so happy, second day you're so happy, next day, Arey beta, why don't you put this here and move this here and look at your kitchen, how come you're managing it this way, why don't you move things around? Arey Baba, it's too much, right? So we fall in this delusion that happiness can be gained by adjusting outer circumstances, whatever it may be. The place, the time, the objects, the people, everything, we feel like happiness can be gained like that. So we start seeking it in those places. So now Vedanta said, look, the problem is not in seeking joy. You seek joy fully. Go for it. Just do it. But the thing is, you seek it in the right direction. See, right now, all of us are seeking joy in the object. But where is joy? It's actually in the subject. If we take this whole world, we can divide it into two parts. One is object, one is subject. Object means anything you can perceive. Anything you can perceive, anything you can experience is called an object. So you and I have been looking for this joy in objects. Have we found it there? 50 years we've been looking for joy in the objects. Have we found it? No. Right? But we're still looking for it there. See, the kind of joy that you and I are looking for is not this temporary flicker. The kind of joy that you and I want is something that's eternal. We don't want that joy that will just come and go the next day. We want joy that will last forever, last for a long time, continuously. Not only should it be eternal, it should be infinite. It's not that the joy should be this much or that much. It should be infinite, so much that I can't measure it. See what happens with you and me. We go for dosa, for dinner, to some dosa hut, isn't it? We all go and we feel very happy. We're going for dosa. And this is happiness for us. And finally what happens? Everybody orders their dosa. In 5 minutes, I'm looking at the menu. I don't know which dosa to order, what to do. I'm thinking this, that. Then I say, okay, let me order the rava dosa. I don't want to order plain masala dosa. All the time masala dosa. Let me try something different. But then my friend orders masala dosa because he says, okay, I'll order masala dosa. I always have it. And then I try to play smart. I want something different. I'm going to order rava dosa. And both dosas come. And when they come, what happened? I try my rava dosa. He tries his masala dosa. He asks me, how's your dosa? And I have no choice but to smile. I say, very good, very good. But in my head, I should have ordered masala dosa. Why did I order this rava dosa? You know? Because the minute that I feel like somebody has more joy than me, it kills me inside, it burns me inside. Why did I order that? But I do want to show that to my friend. I say, very nice, very nice. Why don't you have some? You also take some. Then you try to give him the dosa. Then once he eats the dosa, only finds out this is nothing. Why did you order it? And then you say, yeah, I know. It's okay. Right? So the happiness that you and I are looking for is something that's infinite. It's something that's eternal. But you see, we're looking for eternal happiness and infinite happiness. Where are we looking? In objects. How much have we tried? So much effort we've tried looking for it in objects. We've looked for it in people, in places, in experiences, in things, in circumstances. Have we found it? No. But you know what? You and I, we still want to keep looking there. I haven't found it yet, but let me keep looking. And our whole life just goes like this. The whole time we just want to go, keep looking for it. So Vedanta says, look, you look for that joy. You have effort, put forth effort, get that joy, seek it fully, but seek it where it is. Seek it in the subject because that's where it is. Why are you and I going to seek it in an object where it's not? See, the dharma of sugar is what? Sweetness. That means wherever you go in this world, sugar will be sweet. Now, will I ever look for saltiness in sugar? No, because that's not its dharma. Now, the world's dharma is what? It's called Jagat. Jagat means Jayate, Gacchati, Tishtati, Iva. Means it comes, it goes, and it as though stays. Now, the dharma of the world is that it's temporary, it's changing. Now, how am I looking for changeless happiness in a changing world? Does it make sense? How am I looking for permanent happiness in the impermanent world? Is it logical? Vedanta is not just some spiritual thing. Vedanta is very, very logical. It's deep thinking. So you and I are looking for something in a place where we can't find it. So now, what Vedanta is telling us to do is turn the direction. Now, instead of seeking it where it's not, I'll tell you where it is. It's in the subject. And what is that subject? I'll tell you all about it. And how to find it in that subject, I'll also tell you about that. And the knowledge of the subject is called Tattva Bodha. Tattva means truth or subject or reality. Bodha means knowledge. So Tattva Bodha is the knowledge of the subject or this truth, where I will find what I am seeking. You see, what we are seeking, this happiness, this eternal, infinite happiness that we are seeking, it's not outside of us. Pujya Guruji writes very beautifully in the introduction. He says there's two kinds of gains. One is apraptasya praptihi, and the other one is praptasya praptihi. Apraptasya praptihi means gain of something which has not been gained. Praptasya praptihi means gain of something which is already there, which is ever gained. Apraptasya praptihi, or gaining something which is not gained, means I'm trying to gain something in another place, in another time. Like let's say if I want to book flights to go to Switzerland, I'm trying to gain something that's in another place. And I can achieve that's in another time. Or I'm planning to grow a mustache. That's also in another time. It'll take time. So what we're trying to gain is not in another dimension. You don't have to go anywhere to get it. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to go to any Tirtha Yatra to get it. You don't have to go to Kailash or Vaikuntha, etc. You can go there for the purity of your mind, but you don't have to go there to gain this happiness. This happiness is praptasya prapti, which means it's already there. It's very much like, so many times in your life this would have happened where you were looking for your cell phone. You were looking for your cell phone all over the house and you drove everybody wild and crazy looking for that cell phone. And then you tell somebody, call my cell phone, call my number. And guess what? They call your number and where's that phone? It's in your pocket or in your pocketbook, isn't it? It's right there. You went crazy all over the house looking for your cell phone, telling this person, I told you not to touch my phone, I told you not to do this, I told you not to do that. whole drama you made about your phone. But where was it? It's right there. So this eternal, infinite happiness, it's already there. What do we have to do? Somebody just has to call you on your cell phone and tell you, come here, and I'll tell you where to find it. That's all. You just need an alert. You just need somebody to tell you where it is. So this is praptasya prapti. What the happiness that you and I are seeking is in the subject. And that subject is you yourself. I am what I seek. This is the truth and the crux of Vedanta. And all the beautiful philosophers say the same thing. Rumi, Kabir, etc. If you read their poetry, it all alludes to this fact that the Upanishads have. So the crux of Vedanta is that I am what I seek. This is the message of the Upanishads. But now, to understand the depth of the Upanishads, Tattva Bodha is very necessary because it builds a foundation. It builds a strong foundation and identifies all the terminologies, all the concepts we need in order to understand that great truth. Because the Upanishads, they're not meant to be read. Just read like that. It's not like a kind of book that you will pick up in Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that and feel like, okay, hey, let me see what's in the Upanishads over here. Let me take a look. It's not that kind of book. It's not self-improvement. It is self-discovery. And self-discovery is not something you can read. Self-discovery is something that we need to study and live. So in order to understand those great truths which the Upanishads have revealed to us, Tattva Bodha, texts like Tattva Bodha are an aid to build that foundation. This is why we start with it. Hence it is called a Prakarana Grantha. Prakarana Grantha means it's a topical text. It covers a certain topic of the Shastra. In here, it covers 3 particular topics, which we will see as we go on. It covers the topic of sadhana chatushtaya, which means the qualifications of an ideal seeker. Because we have to know who the seeker is for Vedanta. If I want to study Vedanta, how should I be? It covers the topic of Tattva Viveka, means that discrimination between reality and non-reality. And it covers the topic of moksha or liberation, what we call liberation. So it covers these 3 key topics. Now, when I say Vedanta, this term should also be clear. So Tattva Bodha is clear. It's a Prakarana Grantha. It is a foundation text which helps us understand Upanishad. What is Upanishad? That's another thing we should also understand. See, we have one Veda. One Veda divided into 4 volumes. Correct? Who compiled the Vedas together? Veda Vyasaji. Into 4 volumes. What are they? Sama and Atharva. So Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Right? Now, the culminative teaching of the Veda, or the conclusive teaching of the Veda, is called Vedanta. Anta there means conclusive teaching. Means the whole Veda is all put together just so that we can get to the Anta of it. That Anta, which we know as Vedanta, is also Upanishad. So the crux of our whole teaching of the rishis is Vedanta or Upanishad. Right? So now it's Vedanta is understood. Now before we enter into the text and dive into the different aspects of the text, first we have to understand who wrote the text. So first we understood why we have to study the text. Why we have to study the text? Because what we are seeking for is not in the object, it's in the subject. Hence, we should study the subject so we can gain that everlasting joy, that eternal, infinite joy which we all seek. Now, who wrote it? So we dive into first who wrote the text because it gives us a sense of reverence. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, out of his compassion, has put this text together. Who is Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya? Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya is none other than, Gurudev calls him the spiritual general of Advaita Vedanta. If you see his life story, it is so beautiful and so uplifting that this boy, when only he was 8 years old, he left his home because he wanted to pursue sannyasa. He wanted to learn the deepest and truest message of Vedanta. And he left his home when he was 8. By that time, he already mastered the chanting of the Veda. By the time he was 12 years old, he already mastered the different shastras of the Veda, like Jyotish Shastra, Dhanu Shastra, Ayurveda, all the different shastras he already mastered. By the age of 16, he already started writing commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishad, and the Brahma Sutras. 16 years old. Now, in Sanatana Dharma, we have 3 canonical texts or of authority. So every religion has some kind of text of authority. So we also have our scriptural texts of authority. They are the Upanishad, which I explained to you what they are. Next is the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm sure all of you know. And the third one is the Brahma Sutras. Brahma Sutras is a text wherein what it does is it dives into any contradictions there are between what is said in the Upanishads and what is said in the Bhagavad Gita, or what is said in the Upanishads with what is said in another Upanishad, etc. Any conflicts there, it resolves them. These are our 3 main texts of authority, and Adi Shankaracharya has had a hand in all of them. How? He wrote commentaries on the major Upanishads. He wrote commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, which is absolutely astounding. And he's even written a commentary on the Brahma Sutras. So every single text of authority he has touched. Which means what? Which means he has mastery over the entire Shastra. So the one who has mastery over the entire Shastra is the one who is writing this text. So unless we understand where he's coming from, then we won't have any reverence for it. This text was written thousands of years ago. For us to have it in our hands and to be able to study it is indeed a blessing from him. So Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has written this text, and Puja Guruji Swami Tejumayananda has written the commentary of this text. Puja Guruji, who is also studied and very well versed with all of these texts of scriptural authority, not only is he well versed in it, but he lives it. So when we take something like that to study, it's not a book. It is vidya, knowledge. Vidya is in our hands. So when we understand who wrote the book, who wrote the commentary, then there's a reverence for it. In our culture, books are revered. They're not something that you throw around, put here and there and everywhere. They're something that you take care of, because it represents knowledge. So now, when we understand and have a reverence for the author of the book, then we dive into the Mangalacharana, or the invocation of this text. When we start anything in life, in our culture, we always do so with a prayer. It's not like when we wake up in the morning, we start the day with snoozing the alarm clock and putting covers over our head and, screaming, hey, wake up, or do this or do that. It's not like that. We always start something with an auspicious opening prayer. And this is just a lesson for us. Whenever we start something in the right mindset, it will continue in the right mindset. So anytime you and I start something, it should only be done with auspiciousness, with a right mindset. Then it will become throughout the whole entire study. So we invoke again Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya Ji's grace, Puja Gurudev, Puja Guruji, as we start this journey, Tattva Bodha. I will chant the Mangala Charana, and then you can repeat after me, and then I will explain what it means. It's in page 8. Vasudevendra Yogindram Nattva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. Together. Vasudevendra Yogindram Nattva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vidhiyate. See, whenever our rishis wrote a book, put something together, they always started with Mangala Charana. Of course, to invoke an auspicious beginning, but also, number one, so that they successfully complete the writing of the book. So before they take up anything to write, they invoke the grace of the divine. And more so that the book reaches the right audience. Because what if you and I wrote a book and then it just sits there and it doesn't make its way to the right people? Then there's no point of the book, isn't it? But more so, it should reach the right audience and they should also read it. How many books did you buy that are sitting on your shelf in your library at home that's just gathering dust? It's just there. You bought the right book, but you did not read it. So Mangala Charana means, I'm writing this, Bhagavan. I wanted to reach the right audience, but also they should pick it up and read it. And more so, not only that they should read it, but they should also come to live it. These words should come and jump up alive. They should be part of our lives. Sometimes we open a book, but what happens? And we actually read, We actually read 3 or